how to be a Christian without being religious. Is that something that we need to consider?
How to be a Christian without being religious. Well, what is religious? It seems to me that many people think that they're Christians because they go to church each week, or because maybe they are kind to the neighbor, or they take out the trash without griping, or they don't cheat on their income tax, and because they do those they don't do those bad things and are trying hard to do the good things, that makes them religious, and the church attendance is the important thing, and so they're okay. And you're saying that there's a book about how to be a Christian without being religious? What's Fritz doing with that?
Well, as I recall, he was trying to point out that simply going through the forms, the routine of religion, is not Christianity. And that being a real Christian will deliver us from that.
Going through the forms. So sitting in a church once a week doesn't make me a Christian.
In Matthew 7, I think there are some people who appear very religious. They cast out devils and prophesy and do many wonderful things. And then God says, I never knew you.
I think that Jesus told at least 3 parables like that, didn't he? Where groups of people are apparently at the judgment bar or whatever, and looking for entrance into the heavenly country. And they kind of go down this recitation of the good things they've done, and are told that you don't get in here for that reason. I was just imagining, suppose you'd just come back from a mission trip, where you'd built a church or a school for somebody, and as you were getting out of the airplane, Jesus was at the gate, and you walked up to him thinking, boy, he sure caught me at a good moment. I'm just coming back from this mission trip. And he said to you, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I don't know you. It seemed like that'd be a puzzling thing to hear from him. And yet that's what he told these people who had just got done saying that they've done good things. So it's not about what you do.
Well, Christianity is not based on what you do, it's based on who you know, apparently.
And if you don't know Jesus, you don't know the right people. So getting into heaven is a lot like getting into a club where if you know the right people and have connections, they're going to let you in.
It's who you know.
It's who you know.
It sounds political, but it's still who you know. Have you heard the story about the man who went to heaven and he wanted to get in, and Peter said that we're on the point system, you need 100 points.
No.
And he said, well, I was a faithful husband and father for 40 years. And Peter said, well, we'll give you 2 points for that.
2 points for that.
And he said, 2 points? And he scratched his head and he said, well, I was a deacon in the church and did faithful deacon work. And Peter says, 1 point for that.
1 point. It's going
and he's
down
getting
there.
Desperate now. Yeah. He says, I worked with helping people who were without food and clothes. So I helped them. And Peter said, that's 1/2 point. And the man exploded. He says, hey, the only way I'd get in here would be by the grace of God. And Peter said, welcome in. And are you willing to give up your 3.5 points?
Yeah. Well, that brings me to maybe one last question I'd like to ask before you tell us what a Christian is. If I don't go to heaven for being good, if being good is not the basis for my going to heaven, would it be fair to say that if I'm lost one day, I will never be lost for being bad?
Yeah, I think if the first is true, so is the second. If our good deeds and our obedience have nothing to do with saving us in heaven, then our bad deeds and our disobedience have nothing to do with causing us to be lost. There's only one reason I'm lost, because I don't know Jesus. And the bad deeds are the result of that.
All right. right? Put it together for us this evening.
And if I get to heaven, it'll be only because I know Jesus, and the good deeds are the result of that.